Welcome to YWAM Tyler's Audio Podcast. Thanks for tuning in, and we hope this episode will be fun, interesting, and also beneficial for you. Every episode of this podcast will be different, with teachings, interviews, and devotionals. It's about missions, it's about people, and it's about the heart of God. This is an exciting time in which we live, and God is active all over the globe. Youth with the Mission has been partnering with God for the last 50 plus years. YWAMTyler.org. That's the place to go if you want to find out more about us and how you can get involved with God's dreams for His world. Thanks again for tuning in, but let's not wait any longer and dive right into today's episode.
The most wonderful and beautiful thing God ever made was us. And we are the only ones He made directly. He talks to the waters, which He creates, and it brings forth. He talks to the dirt, which He makes, and it brings forth. He talks to the waters again, do this, and it brings forth. But when it comes to us, He makes us personally. And then we're just there. We're just like clay, you know. And then He breathes into our nostrils a breath of life. He has to breathe very carefully or he'll blow us out of the universe. But and then man stands up and saying like next chapter, you want to fight? You know, we're just stupid people. But He's a wonderful, wonderful maker. One of the greatest ways that God does stuff today is by signs and wonders. And if you don't know what a sign is, see, if I came, say, to Lindale, the closest little town here, other than Garden Valley here, and I saw a sign, and it said Lindale, and I went up to it, and I looked at that sign, I said, this is Lindale. It's so small. I thought it was bigger than that. The sign isn't the thing. It points to something else. And that's what God's signs are. They're not it. He points to something with it. He can use rainbows. He can use all kinds of different things. The second one is a wonder. So what is a wonder? A wonder is usually a thing you go, I wonder why in the fat He did that. Because He does such amazing things. And sometimes you go, what did He do that for? Because He's God and you're not. And He loves doing things that freak you out 40 ways from Friday. Slightly over a century ago, our science was rocked by discoveries of the strangeness of the unseen world and how unlike it was what we knew about the nature of matter. Now, I'm not going to give you all the data on this, just got fuzzy things and bundles and all kinds of weirdness here. It's a Forrest Gump question I'm going to ask you. Is life like a box of chocolates? Like his mom said, and you never know what you're going to get, or is Lieutenant Dan right and destiny rules? What makes a real change is when God shows up. It doesn't matter how it starts. It doesn't matter where it is. What makes a real change is when He shows up. You know, I've been to Bethlehem. It stood a hole after 2,000 years. It's not a huge megapolis, but we still sing about Bethlehem at Christmas time because somebody arrived there thousands of years ago that made the world. And I'm looking for a time when He arrives in this area again. That's what I want to see. I want to see the Lord show up. By the way, this book on revival, I want to give you a quick definition of revival. We're in the middle of this. There is tons of different definitions of revival. Our friend Dr. Tamara Winslow, who was here just a week ago for 10 days doing some research in the study library, she did a study, took 22 years, and it is the largest study on the word revive ever done in the history of the church. 22 solid years of research, she found over 50 synonyms for the word revive, instead of just 30-something that we think is all there is in the Bible. So I'm going to give you a quick and simple definition of revival. There's tons of different versions. This is the Pratney dumb version, okay? Revival happens when God gets so sick of being misrepresented by people who say they know Him. He shows up in person to kick butt and take names. Now, that's not a theologically accurate one, but I just thought I'd share that with you because that's what happens. We are not seeking revival. That may shock you, but we're not. We're seeking Him. We're not looking for the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. We're looking for the one who made rainbows. And our search is not for revival. Revival is a description of what happens when he shows up. We're not looking for something that God does. We're looking for him. We want to know him. And that is my hunger, and it's the hunger of youth with a mission. That mission is not to seek for this, that, or the other thing. We are after the Lord. We want to know him. We want to know him better than we've ever known him before. And this nation and some of the nations that you represent need to know him now.